Hello dear students, this side Kamna ma'am, your science teacher. Welcome back to my fourth video on chapter 12 nutrition in animals. So first, let's have a short recap of the last session. So in the last session, we learnt about tooth decay, means holes in the teeth. Tooth decay also known as cavities. And then we discussed about two main reasons for tooth decay. First is bacteria overgrowth in the mouth, and the second one is a diet laden with sugar and starches. And then I explain you about two ways to prevent cavities. First is by proper oral hygiene and dental care, and the second one is by diet change. And then we discussed about tongue, that it is a fleshy muscular organ that help to mix saliva with the food. It has taste buds that help to sense four different tastes: sweet, salty, bitter and sour. And then I explain you about salivary glands, that it secretes saliva that contain an enzyme, salivary amylase, that break down the starch into sugar. And today in this video we will cover the following topics: pharynx, esophagus and stomach. So let's start our topic. Pharynx, commonly known as throat, it is a part of the gut. Now look at this diagram. You can see pharynx is present above the esophagus and larynx, and it connects the buccal cavity to the esophagus and the larynx. Larynx, also known as voice box, it is the upper portion of the trachea. The pharynx also leads to trachea, which is commonly known as windpipe. It is a tube that connects our larynx to our lungs. Both food and air passes through the pharynx. It carries air from the nasal cavity to the larynx, which further carries air to our lungs, and it receives food from the buccal cavity and transport into the esophagus. Next is science talk. How the process of swallowing of food take place is explained here. Now when we swallow the food, it could pass into the trachea instead of the esophagus, but this doesn't happen. Why? Because a piece of flap-like structure known as epiglottis is present just above the larynx and behind the root of the tongue. This prevents food from going down the wrong way. When we swallow the food, at that time the larynx gets covered by this epiglottis. Thus, food particles cannot enter the trachea. So, they enter into the esophagus. Students, please do one correction here. Write cannot in place of can. But occasionally, small particles of food or water may get into the larynx. This induces violent coughing automatically to force the food particles or water out from the larynx or trachea and prevent choking. Next is esophagus or gullet. It is a narrow muscular tube that passes through the chest and the diaphragm so that it can join the stomach. And the walls of the esophagus has two layers of muscles. First is longitudinal muscles, which are present on the outer side of the gut wall, and on the inner side of the gut wall, circular muscles are present. These muscles are present along the whole alimentary canal from esophagus to the rectum. Both set of muscles produce long but slow contraction, and due to these contraction, food moves along the gut via peristalsis. Now, what is peristalsis? Peristalsis is a rhythmic wave-like muscular contraction and relaxation in the wall of the alimentary canal. And in esophagus, no digestion takes place. Sometimes we vomit the food immediately as our stomach does not accept it. Next is SS. Here are some questions for you. First question is, what is a cavity in a tooth? So answer is, cavities, also known as tooth decay, means holes in the teeth. Now the second question is, how many wisdom teeth an adult have? So an adult have 4 wisdom teeth. Now next one is, what is the role of epiglottis when we swallow the food? So the answer is, the main function of the epiglottis is to seal off the windpipe during eating so that food is not accidentally inhaled. The next one is, what is bolus? A bolus is a bowl-like mixture of food and saliva that forms in the mouth during the process of chewing. Now the last one is, name the substance that makes food soften in our mouth. So mucin in saliva helps to soften the food. Next is stomach. Now look at this diagram. It is a J-shaped thick-walled distensible bag. Now what is the meaning of distensible here? Distensible means that can be stretched or expanded. Now when the stomach is completely filled with food, then it becomes fully stretched, and then it sends signal to the brain that it is full now, and then we stop eating. And there are numerous gastric pits present in the wall of stomach, which lead to the gastric glands that secretes gastric juices into the stomach. And the inner lining of stomach, known as mucosa, it secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices. Now, what is mucus? It is a slimy, viscous substance secreted as a protective lubricant by mucosa. Now, mucus is mainly composed of large glycoproteins known as mucin and inorganic salts suspended in water. Now, mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juices perform different function in the stomach. Now, first is mucus. It protects the inner lining of stomach from the corrosive effect of acid. How it protect? Actually, the bicarbonate ions of the mucus neutralizes the acid, thus protecting the inner lining of the stomach from the highly acidic stomach environment. And the stomach acid play an important role in the immune system by killing harmful bacteria that are ingested with food and make the medium acidic so that digestive juices can work properly. And digestive juices help in the digestion of protein. Actually, the stomach muscles contract periodically, churn the food to mix digestive juices. The food in the stomach is churned into semi-solid. This churned semi-solid food is known as chyme. The stomach can store this food for few hours and then it goes into the small intestine. Now, how this food passes into the small intestine? Now, look at this diagram. There is a ring of muscles known as pyloric sphincter located at the place where stomach joins the small intestine. Now, when this ring contracts, the entrance to the small intestine closes, and when the ring relaxes, the entrance open, allowing the food to pass from the stomach into the small intestine. Next is infobit. As we know that our stomach produces hydrochloric acid and it is corrosive in nature, but its corrosive effect is neutralized by the production of natural bicarbonate and prostaglandins. Now, what are prostaglandins? These are compounds made of fats that have hormone-like effect. They inhibit acid secretion and stimulate bicarbonate secretion in stomach. But when the production of these chemicals is interrupted, then it leads to damaged stomach lining, which causes acidity. Now, what is acidity? Acidity is a condition characterized by heartburn felt around the lower chest area, which is caused by the stomach acid flowing back up into the food pipe. Now, when stomach acid frequently flow back up into the esophagus, then it is known as GERD, means gastroesophageal reflux disease, which irritates our esophagus. So that's all for today. Now I have prepared few in-between questions for you. Copy them in your notebook. Go through the topic again. Read it properly to make it more clear. Tomorrow we will start the new topic, small intestine. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe and keep learning.